to comply with the 9-0 Supreme Court order to facilitate his return to the United States? Just yes or no.
This administration is following all federal court orders.
Madam Secretary, this is a simple question.
It's the president's prerogative on conversations that happen with the president of El Salvador.
I ask a simple question. We have a limited amount of time. And what are the provisions of the document? So do you know what entities in El Salvador are receiving the funds?
I'm sure you can see this document as well and have looked at it for evaluation.
I'm glad you raised that, Madam Secretary, because I sent you a letter along with many of my colleagues here on.
In the marble halls of power, the air was sharp with law and politics. Senator Van Hollen rose, steady, deliberate, his voice a chord of the Constitution itself. "Madam Secretary," he asked, "will you honor the court's command? 9 justices, 1 voice. Bring the man back who was wronged." But the secretary's words were fog and thunder. "I follow all court orders," she said, then turned her gaze to ghosts of terror and crime, painting a man in shadows the courts had cleared. Van Hollen pressed, "This isn't about him, but about us, about due process, about justice that bends for no one." The chamber crackled. Law met politics. Truth met deflection. And in that clash, the question still hung. Not just for Garcia, but for a nation's soul. Will we obey our own laws when fear and power whisper otherwise?
Senator Van Hollen.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Madam Secretary, it's good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
And I was glad to see in your recent testimony that you reaffirmed your obligations to uphold the Constitution of the United States. And I understand you had an exchange with Senator Murphy on the Abrago García case. And so I'm just going to put the question directly to you. Are you or DHS doing anything to comply with the 9-0 Supreme Court order to facilitate his return to the United States? Just yes or no.
This administration is following all federal court orders.
Madam Secretary, this is a simple question.
It's the president's prerogative on conversations that happen with the president of El Salvador.
I ask a simple question. We have a limited amount of time. I just asked you, Madam Secretary, whether or not you or the Department of Homeland Security are taking any action to facilitate the 9-0 Supreme Court decision to facilitate his return. This is a very simple question. Are you taking any action to facilitate his return, or are you not?
This administration is following and complying with all federal court orders to make sure that we.
So you are because the court ordered that you facilitate his return. So you are facilitating his return.